Hi, welcome back to the channel. We have a comparison video today. Now, we've got two rollers, as you can see here, two Rolexes. We have the Milgauss, the long-running Milgauss. Actually, it's 14 years going in their catalogue in this, this kind of form. And we've got the OP39, which came out in 2017. I think was discontinued just before 2020, somewhere around there. Now, the reason for the comparison is on What You Seek. There was once a conversation saying, why would I spend £2,000 more on a Milgauss versus an OP39? Because after all, £2,000 for 1mm more. Is that it? Well, let's have a look at the specs and we'll see. As he says, this is a 40mm watch, here is a 39mm watch. But there's actually no difference in dial size at all. They both have the same size dial, 32.5. It's only when you look at the side of a watch you can actually say some differences. Like here we've got a 13.2mm case versus a 11.4 on this one. Lug to lug's 49, lugs to lugs on this about a mil smaller, 48, just under 48. So not a massive amount of difference, but you can also feel the weight of this watch is much heavier. These are both mine, their size for my wrist size just over 7 inches, and this comes in at 156 grams, this 131. Now the reason why this is a bit chunkier is, I'm not going to go into full history, but basically it's designed for people who were working in power plants back in the day, or anywhere as high amount of static electricity, which can lead to magnetism. And so they, back in the old days, they'd affect the hairspring and your watch would start going fast because it being magnetized. So Rolex came up with this, and basically it's got a iron core around the whole movement, acting like a Faraday cage, so it protects the movement from static electricity. That's why there's no date window on there, because otherwise it'd be an opening. So if you were to open the back of this, you would actually wouldn't see the movement. There would be a basically a shield over the movement. So that's one reason why this is chunkier and heavier, where this doesn't have that. But I say this has also got anti-magnetic properties. I know that people say 1000 Gauss is nothing. There's watches which have got far more anti, sort of like magnetism effects. But the thing is, this has got much more than that. I think Houdinki once tested it to, I can't remember, something like 6000 Gauss. It still didn't have a problem. It's just an old name. They've kept that name throughout history, so that's why it's known as a Milgauss. So don't think it's just 1000 Gauss like the name would suggest. The name is old, but the technology is new. The movement in this watch is 3131 and has 31 joules, 48-hour power reserve, and has their fancy blue hairspring, which is highly anti-magnetic. This watch is newer and has the 3132 movement. Now, exactly the same specs as the one in this. I should point out the one in this was only ever made for the Milgauss and later the Air King, so it doesn't appear in any others. This one has the 3132 and has all the same specs, but also has the Paraflex, which is the anti-shock system. So in theory, this has got a slightly better movement. But it is slimmer, and it's used in a lot of their slimmer watches. So that's what you got in this one. Now, the big difference on both watches obviously is the dial. Now here on the OP39 we have this great red. Now it was available in a few different colours. You had I think it was the silver and the blue was the different colours, and I quite like red actually. I like the way that the light plays with the hour markers, and at certain angles they look kind of black or or really dark red, like there you can see the change of colours. The one downside I'd say with this dial is that the hour marker 3, 6 and 9 are the only ones with any lume. The hands have lume obviously. The lume is good and strong, but I always like to see a little bit more lume there. The other thing I really do like, apart from that sunburst dial, is the baton second hand. I think there's just so much more work goes into that than just a normal stamped out second hand like you see on the sub, or to a degree even the Milgauss. Now the Milgauss here, obviously there's a bit more toolish look about it because there's a lot more lume on there, and the 3, 6 and 9 I know are different colours here but also have different coloured lume, and obviously you have a lot of that orange going on that dial with the actual out on the minute track, the orange lightning bolt second hand, and the orange on the hour markers. So it gives it a bit more of a tool watch, and I just love that green sapphire crystal. On a summer's day, if you're wearing this watch and the sun hits it, it really does pop. It looks great. Both watches are 100 meter water resistant. You have got a lot more polishing on the Milgauss. Not only are the sides of the case polished, as to are the OP, and the outer edge of the bracelet, which the OP has also, and the bezel. You also have the top of the case and the polished center links. Polished center links are a bit of a love-hate because the simple fact is they can scratch. So you do have that. Where on the OP, it's brushed on top and the bracelet is completely brushed. I quite like that. It's very reminiscent of a Submariner or a Sea Dweller. So easy to get rid of any marks if you were to mark that. So quite easy to do. Now, back of the OP, there's nothing, which is pretty well the same on pretty well all the Rolex models. Apart from that is the Milgauss and the Deep Sea. They're the only ones I know with any writing on the back. Now, both have the Oyster Bracelet, which is my favorite of all the bracelets. Now, you can see a bit of a difference when you get to the clasp here. Now, you do have a polish there, you don't have any polish in there, and you have a little bit of a cheaper, albeit nice, crown, cornet, whatever, actually engraved into where you have it applied here. So when I open them, nice, solid, nice click. You don't have, you don't have any dive link extensions or anything on there, but you do have 3 levels of micro adjustment. I think it's only 3. Yep, just 3. So you have 3 levels of micro adjustment, which is all right. Obviously, screwed bracelet. Now, the Milgauss is similar, but you have what's called the easy link on that, which is incredibly handy, especially in summer. If I hold my finger there, so that is the end of the bracelet, and now I pull it down, then pull it out, you get an extra 5 mil or so of extra bracelet. So it's just ever such a simple little thing, link, which folds back on itself and locks in. I keep meaning to try and obtain one of them to put on the OP at some point, but you can see, nice solid. Other differences, the crown on this model is a little bit more chunkier than this one. It's 7 mil versus 6 mil. Both have that solid line there to indicate there's 100 meters of water resistancy. Both are incredibly accurate. Fit and finish on both watches is excellent. I'll put it on my wrist so you got an idea. Quick wrist check. I'm wearing a Seiko MM200 Great Blue Hole, which I really like that watch. Now, let's put this on. Now, there you go. So that's a 40mm watch on my 7 and a bit inch wrist, and I think it looks great. I can't believe you've got people out there who think once you've got over like 6.5 or 7 inch wrist, 40mm looks too small. I don't find that myself, but that's, everyone has their own tastes. So now 39 should look really small, and I don't think it does at all. I think it looks absolutely spot on. I think our watch looks superb. Definitely, because it's slimmer, it suits maybe a guy or a girl who wears a shirt or a blouse, so it fits in quite nicely. I'll just put this on. Actually, I will show you. If I put this on now, I can actually, if I click there, that's the easy link, then undone. If I put this watch next to it, so you got an idea, clunking them together. So that's the 2 watches side by side. So there you go. There is a difference, but it is kind of, if it's £2,000 worth, I don't know. I wouldn't like to say. But if you look at the Sea Dweller versus the Submariner. Price difference for helium release valve and a bit more water resistancy. So there you go. That's the two Rolexes side by side. Which one would you go for out of interest? What would be your pick? Anyway, stay safe and I'll see you at the next watch review. All the best. Bye.